Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're talking about something that's so important, our mental well-being. But let's forget about big, overwhelming goals for a second. We're going to explore how really small, everyday habits can make a huge, positive impact on how you feel. Okay, let's get right into it.
So let me just start by asking you a question. Personally, how do you care for your mind? It's a simple question, right? But it's one we don't really stop to think about very often. And this whole conversation is about finding some simple but powerful answers to that very question.
And here it is. This is the big idea, the foundation for everything we're about to discuss. We really have to start thinking about our mental health with the exact same priority we give our physical health. They aren't separate things. They're two sides of the same coin, completely connected.
So what are we even aiming for here? Good mental health isn't about being happy 24/7. That's just not realistic. It's really about having the tools and the resilience to handle life's ups and downs, to manage stress, to connect with people, to keep yourself going, and just to feel a general sense of balance.
That brings us to our first section. And you might be surprised to hear this, but the journey to a healthier mind, it often starts not in the mind itself, but with the body. So let's take a look at that physical foundation.
All right, first up is movement. I want you to think of physical activity as one of the most powerful and easily accessible mood boosters that you have. It is such a natural way to shift your entire mental state.
And the science behind this is just fascinating. When you move your body, your brain literally releases these feel-good chemicals, like endorphins, that directly fight stress and lift your mood. And you don't need a crazy workout routine. We're talking 30 minutes on most days. A simple walk, some stretching, even just putting on some music and dancing in your living room, it all counts.
Okay, let's move on to our second pillar, nutrition. You've heard that saying, you are what you eat, right? Well, it is especially true for your brain. The connection between the food we eat and the way we feel is just incredibly direct. The goal here is just to make some small, sustainable swaps. Think about this. A huge amount of your body's serotonin, that's a key chemical for regulating your mood, is actually produced in your gut. So adding more whole foods can help stabilize your mood, while cutting back on tons of sugar can prevent those awful energy crashes and mood swings. Oh, and don't forget water. A hydrated brain is a much happier, sharper brain. And our final physical pillar, and this one is absolutely non-negotiable, is sleep. I love this way of thinking about it, that sleep is literally like recharging your brain. It's the time when your mind gets to repair itself and reset for the next day.
So what's the magic number? Well, for most adults, the target for a full recharge is right there, somewhere between 7 and 9 hours a night. You gotta stop thinking of it as a luxury and start seeing it as essential maintenance for your mind.
And here are a couple of things you can do to start improving your sleep tonight. First, consistency is your best friend. Try to go to bed and wake up around the same time, even on weekends. And that blue light from your phone or your tablet, it basically tells your brain, hey, it's daytime, stay awake. So just powering down those screens 30 minutes before bed can make a world of difference.
Okay, so we've got our physical foundation in place. Now let's build on top of that. We're going to move to the next level and look at the incredible role of connection. And that means connecting both with ourselves and with other people.
So our mental well-being is really nurtured in two different ways. On one hand, you have connecting inward through mindfulness. That's all about tuning in to what's happening right now. And on the other, you have connecting outward, which is about strengthening our bonds with others. You really do need both.
Let's start with connecting inward. This quote, it just nails it, doesn't it? So much of our anxiety and stress comes from either replaying the past or trying to rehearse the future. Mindfulness is just the simple, kind of radical act of being right here, right now. And listen, this does not have to be complicated. It can be as simple as just stopping to take a few deep breaths or finding a quiet spot to sit for just a couple of minutes each day. Even getting lost in a hobby you love, like gardening or listening to music or painting, that's a form of mindfulness too.
Now for the other side of that coin, connecting outward. We humans are social creatures. We're just wired that way. Having strong relationships is like a powerful buffer against stress. It reminds us that we're not going through things alone. In fact, research shows that strong social ties are linked to a longer, healthier life. The key here is just to be a little more intentional about it. Actively make that time for friends and family. Open up and talk about how you're actually feeling. Maybe you could find a new community by joining a group or volunteering for something you care about. These are the actions that build the support system we all need. Whew, okay, we have covered a lot of ground, from movement and sleep to mindfulness and connecting with people. So let's bring it all together and talk about how to actually get started. This right here,
This is the single most important thing to take away from our entire conversation today. This is not about some radical, life-changing overhaul. It's about choosing one small thing and just doing it consistently. The real power is in the repetition of those small, healthy habits.
So I'm going to leave you with this final direct question. Looking at everything we've talked about, maybe it's a short walk, maybe it's turning off your phone a little earlier, or just calling a friend. What is one small thing you can commit to doing? What's going to be your first step?
And if you'd like to explore any of this a bit more, we've listed some really excellent resources here for you to check out. Thank you so much for joining me. Now go on, take that first small step today. You've got this.
Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're talking about something that's so important, our mental well-being. But let's forget about big, overwhelming goals for a second. We're going to explore how really small, everyday habits can make a huge, positive impact on how you feel. Okay, let's get right into it.
So let me just start by asking you a question. Personally, how do you care for your mind? It's a simple question, right? But it's one we don't really stop to think about very often. And this whole conversation is about finding some simple but powerful answers to that very question.
And here it is. This is the big idea, the foundation for everything we're about to discuss. We really have to start thinking about our mental health with the exact same priority we give our physical health. They aren't separate things. They're two sides of the same coin, completely connected.
So what are we even aiming for here? You know, good mental health isn't about being